So today I will be explaining everything you need to know about the vehicle warehouse in GTA Online. Now, if you came here to look for a good way to make money, this is not it. I'm going to be straight up with you instead of wasting your time. But if you came here for a new way to make money, have fun with your money grind, or simply just integrate a new business in there, then the vehicle warehouse is honestly not that bad of an option, but it's still not amazing in any way. So with that being said, let's move on to the vehicle warehouse. So firstly, we always got to know how you get this, and if you don't know, you got to buy an office, and the office is very easy to get. You're just going to go on your phone, go to the internet, money and services, Dynasty 8 Executive, that is not it, Dynasty 8 Executive, enter the site, and at the top right, if you just select offices, you can buy really any of these. I would stay away from the Long Bank West building over here because it's way too expensive for it being all the way to the side of the city. And the Maze Bank Tower, well, it's just the most expensive, and it's not really worth it because all the offices look the exact same in the inside. Obviously they're different on the outside, but it doesn't really matter too much. So I would either go for Maze Bank West since it's the cheapest, or Arcadia's Business Center because it has a very unique garage to it. Now when you choose the office you want to buy, none of this really matters too much. Personnel, obviously, your opinion. Organization name, obviously your opinion. I forgot about the decor. This is really pricey because it can be up to 1 million just for the interior design. Doesn't really matter in the moment, but later on you can change it if you want. Gun locker, all up to you, but other businesses I think come with the gun locker for free, so you don't really need this. And the safe does nothing. Other businesses will earn you an income with the safe. This does not, so don't even worry about this. And accommodation, this will allow you to spawn inside of your office. Now, I don't think it's really that worth it for the vehicle warehouse because there's a long-ass cooldown for each source. So I wouldn't buy this if you're looking just to grind the vehicle warehouse, but if you're doing other businesses like the cargo warehouse alongside it, pretty worth it in my opinion. But once you finally have your office, you're actually going to go inside, go to the left, and then you're going to go to the left again to this computer right here. That's where all the business happens, all the magic. Everything you need is right here on this computer. And once you get on the computer, the middle of the screen actually, the mouse is going to default on the vehicle cargo, so it's very easy to find. And special cargo is right here as well. If you want to check out my other video on this, you can. I would like if you could, please. Vehicle cargo. When you get here for the first time, I believe it's going to show you this map and your assistant is going to give you a rundown of it. Now, in my opinion, I feel like you shouldn't buy this one all the way down here because it's just really far out of the way, but anything else besides this one as well, you can go ahead and buy whatever one you want. The reason for this one, as I said, out of the way, and this one actually has a gang around it. So if you end up crashing the vehicle, you're going to get like shot up and all that stuff, and it's just not worth the time. So anything else you could really go for, they can get pretty damn pricey. I think there's one that's like nearly 3 million. That one's 2.8, so yeah, nearly 3 million. And this one is the second cheapest. So this one's actually pretty damn good to buy. I would honestly kind of invest into this one if you don't have that much money. And this one's 1.5 million, so if you really don't have that much money, just go for the cheapest one. It doesn't matter too much, but you can't really change it after you buy it, so that's what really sucks about it. But after you buy whatever warehouse you want, you're gonna obviously click on it, and it's going to, I think, bring you to the summary page, and then this is how you source vehicles here. When you click on it, you're gonna confirm, and then you end up sourcing. Now, this is not the only place you can source vehicles. You can also source them in your master terminal in your arcade, and you should always buy this if you have the money. It is so damn useful because you can, manage just about every business here, and vehicle cargo is at the bottom right here. And same thing, it'll just bring you to the summary page and also the vehicle warehouse map in case you still don't have one when you have an arcade at the master terminal. But still same idea. There's still one more location you can source these at. And the last place is the Terabyte. And this is the most convenient location because you can spawn it very close to you. And this is actually a bit different. You don't have like the summary page or anything. You're just going to simply click on vehicle cargo and then confirm, and it's as easy as that. But quickly, I want to hop over to the actual vehicle warehouse itself just to show you the inside of it and how it works. And once you get in your warehouse, it's not going to look filled like this, obviously. When you source more vehicles, the more it'll fill up. And over time, they will get car covers, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. I wish I didn't get car covers. Whenever you source a vehicle, you're going to come in your office to the right over here, or just look at your map and you'll see the computer icon if you still can't find it for some reason. Going on your laptop, it'll kind of show you a weird screen if you haven't seen it before, but it's not really confusing. When you find any vehicle that you want to sell, I would really only sell top range vehicles because they're going to give you the most profit, and they're kind of really the only ones worth your time to sell. So when you click export in a vehicle, you're of course going to have to click export again up here. It's going to give you 3 options. The private, which doesn't cost any money and you'll receive the least amount of profit possible. Showroom costs you 10,000 and you'll get 70,000, so 60,000 profit. And the last one we have is the specialist dealer, which costs 20,000 to get 100,000 in return, so that's an 80,000 profit. So if you're really broke, you can just do the private, it doesn't matter, but always go for specialist dealer if you have the money to do so. And for the other vehicles, I mean, just look at this. Mid-range, that'll only earn you about 60,000 profit, and then standard range will only earn you about 30,000 profit. So there's like not a huge difference, but I mean, that's just such a little amount of money for selling these vehicles that you always just want to go for top range. And there is a little trick here. To only get top range vehicles when you are sourcing, you're going to want to have 10 standard in here. As you see, I got 10 standard vehicles in here, and I never sell these. I just let them sit in here forever. And same thing with the mid-rangers. I have 10 mid-rangers, and I never touch these vehicles. And for some reason, that makes the game only have you get top range vehicles. Now, don't go past 10 top ranges, because then I think after that, you'll get standard and mid ranges again. And there is one more thing to this vehicle warehouse I may as well show, just in case some people are going to ask about it or say something in the comments about it. That is the garage below this thing. And when this came out, it had its own special vehicles attached to it you can buy, and they can only go in here, which is kind of unfortunate because the vehicles, well, some of them, it feels like you can store them in a garage, but I mean, of course, Rockstar has to have their way. As you can see, there's a couple of vehicles in here I bought, and there's, I think, 3 more that you can buy out of these, so there's in total 8 you can buy. And these are all the vehicles that came out with this update, and they're pretty far down in war stock. I don't remember how far down they are, but they're all together right here. Part of import-export, as you see, there's a Ramp Buggy, Phantom Wedge, Technical Aqua, Blazer Aqua, Armored Boxville, Wastelander, Runa 2000, and the Rocket Voltic. And these are pretty damn pricey for vehicles that got really outdated very quickly, but they're still very fun vehicles to buy. Now that pretty much covers the vehicle warehouse itself. There's a couple more things I want to talk about for the actual missions. Now in some of the missions, most of them actually, you will have some enemies chasing you, as shown in the gameplay right here. Now this could be 2 vehicles, 1 vehicle, 1 helicopter, or 2 separate helicopters. Now depending on what type of car you're stealing, so for standard range, there's going to be 2 waves of enemies that come after you, and 1 wave is a set of 2. So if there's 2 vehicles coming after you, that is 1 wave. So you're just going to take them out if you want to. You don't have to, of course. As I said, standard is 2 waves, mid-range is 3 waves, and then the top range is 4 separate waves of enemies that come after you. And the reason you'd want to take them out is to make the repair cost at the bottom right not go up any higher than it has to be, because you want to keep that as low as possible so you don't have to spend any money. Now another thing to look out for is the random NPCs on the road that are just following the traffic laws. Now these guys are actually coded to hit you when you're doing these missions. I think whenever you're doing really any mission, they're actually coded to get in your way and possibly make you crash, which is very, very annoying, especially for vehicle cargo, because the repair cost is going to go up if you crash. And the last thing is you can actually make the repair cost go all the way down to 0. So if it's at like $10,000 or 15, and it maxes out at 34,000, by the way, you can get that all the way down to 0. But I'll talk about that after I explain all the missions, because it'll make more sense that way. So with all of that being said, we can now talk about how each mission works and how to actually do them. In total, there are 16 different missions you can get by sourcing, so I'm going to try and make this quick for each mission. And the first one I'm talking about is one that you really should avoid. And this is going to tell you to go to 1 of 2 places. Humane Labs or Zancudo Treatment Works. And this is going to require you to steal a cargo bop and go all the way in the middle of the ocean, and this can be all the way across the map, which is what happened to me in the gameplay. And you're going to have to pick up a car in the middle of the ocean. Once you get it, you're going to have 2 helicopters chasing you, and as I said before, dependent on what type of car you're stealing, it could be from 2 waves to 4 waves of enemies of the helicopters. Now you can either fly this thing all the way back to your warehouse, or you could drop it on the ground like I do and just drive the car. Either way works, but you're going to be spending like 10 to 20 minutes doing this mission just because of how long it takes, so just trying to avoid it at all costs. Now the easiest mission you can possibly get is as simple as going to the location and taking the vehicle, and that's it. There's no enemy chasing you, there's no thing attached to the car that you have to avoid, there's nothing. You just have to go to your warehouse, avoid all the NPCs that might possibly hit you, and that is it. And there is one that's very similar to this mission, except when you steal a car, you'll notice it'll have a bomb attached to it. Now you're just going to have to stay above the speed limit it tells you, and at the bottom right, there's going to be a bar with a line in it somewhere, and just stay above that line. When the bar is green, that's how you know that you're good enough. And just try and stay a little bit above that bar, and make your way to your warehouse. And by the time you make it to your vehicle warehouse, the bomb should be disarmed, and if not, just kind of drive around, make sure the bomb is off first, because you don't want the car blowing up, and it's as simple as that. Another easy mission you can get alongside these ones is where the target is just on the move, and that's it. You just have to go to the vehicle and take him out. He is following traffic laws, so he will stop at stoplights, he'll go on green lights, he'll turn whenever he needs to, and even if you get in his way, he's still going to drive forward. He's not going to like stop for you or anything, so just shoot him out of the car, and it's as simple as that. I do believe there is enemies that chase you, so look out for those guys as well if you want to take them out. You don't have to, of course. And that mission is pretty simple. The next one can be a bit tricky, and it's called Amateur Thief. This one will require you to go to the vehicle, and it's going to be in a police chase. Now, what's annoying about this is that the NPC driving the car is reckless, so he could possibly hit other vehicles. The cops can also hit him, and you also have to shoot him out of the car, which can cause damage either way. So no matter what you do, you're going to be causing damage to the vehicle anyway, and sometimes it can be really hard to shoot him out because he is going at a reasonable speed, so it's kind of hard to catch up to you sometimes if you're on a fast vehicle. But as soon as you shoot him out, just get in the car and call the cops off using Lester, or just lose the cops. It's really easy. There is another variation to this mission, except the NPC is not in a police chase, and instead just pull over to the side of the road. Just take out the cops. You don't have to take out the dude that got pulled over either. He just kind of runs away. You're going to steal the car. Once again, either lose the cops or just call Lester, and it's that easy. The last one involving the cops is the crime scene investigation one. Obviously, go to the location and there's going to be a crime scene there. It's as simple as taking out the cops and just taking the car. You're going to have like 3 to 4 stars on you, so just make sure that you either lose the cops or just call Lester. Once again, not too hard to do that. And just go back to your warehouse. The next one can be very tricky if you're not familiar with the map. As you see in the gameplay, it tells me to use a photo to find the car's location, and it gives me a picture of a landmark near it and the area that it's in. For me, it was Polito Forest. I already knew exactly where this was, and if you don't know where it is, you can pause your game, and at the bottom left of your map, it'll tell you the location that you're looking at. So just kind of scan around the map. If you don't know, the location will keep changing until you find the area that you're looking for. And if you still can't find it, just look it up on Google or something, and it should be easy to find because all of these are fixed locations that the car can spawn at, so it's relatively easy to find. And once you find the car, you're just going to take it and take it back to your warehouse. There's no enemies or anything attached to it. It's just as simple as that. One mission you can get that you might struggle with is one where you have to go to the location and find a key from a guard. You have 2 options of how you can do this. Take out the guard sneaky, or go in there guns blazing and just kill everybody. Obviously, it's going to be easy if you're sneaky about it. And for me, I got the key within like the first 2 or 3 guards that I took out. Sometimes you can get very unlucky and it's going to be like the last guard you kill that has the key, which is very, very unfortunate. And if that's the case, you're more than likely going to alert the guards. So just hope that you get the key as soon as you can. And once you do get the key, you're going to go over to the front of the house, go inside the garage, and just take the car. If you alert the guards, you're going to have enemies chasing you. Take them out if you want to. And if you didn't alert them, you shouldn't have any enemies chasing you. But sometimes it's a little finicky with that, so there might be enemies chasing you anyway. Another one similar to this is you're going to go to the house, and instead of it being a sneaky mission, it's just going to be guards you have to take out. Very, very simple. But instead of having a possibility of no guards chasing you afterwards, you're going to have enemies chasing you regardless of what you do. So just take out the dudes, take the car, and just try your best to avoid any damage if possible, but it's going to be really difficult to do that. The next 2 I'm going to tie into each other because they're pretty similar enough that I may as well talk about them at the same time. The first one is a photo shoot. Kind of the same idea with the house that has security attached to it that you can't do stealthily. You're going to have to go there, take out the guards, and take the car. And when you're driving it, you're going to have 1 vehicle and 1 helicopter chasing you. So you're probably going to get damage regardless of what you do. So it's very annoying. Again, take them out if you want to. All up to you. Or you can just outrun them. Whatever you want to do. And the other mission I tied to this one was the movie stunt one. When you get to the location, you're obviously going to see 2 things. Ramp, flaming hoop, and there's a car, which I guess is the 3rd thing there as well. You can do this in a stealthy way, which is kind of difficult a little bit. So when none of the guards are near the car, there's usually only 1 guard that's walking around, so make sure he's not near the car, and once he's not, you're going to get in the car and immediately honk the horn, because that'll send you through the hoop, and sometimes you can get the Vinewood sign one, which will give you a little bit of damage regardless of what you do. But the mission is simple enough. Just try not to crash when you go through the hoop. Sometimes that can be tricky depending on which one you got, and just drive to your warehouse. It's really not too hard, and sometimes you can have enemies chasing you, so just be warned about that. There is another 2 I'm going to tie into each other once again because they're similar enough. One is the race bet. it'll tell you to go to the race starting area, and it's as simple as driving to the location fast enough. Usually the time that it sets for you that you have to beat is very, very easy to beat. So as long as you have a relatively fast car, you're going to be okay. And it's kind of funny because the person in the mission that has the time that you have to beat calls you a loser and all that, and the time's unbeatable, which is kind of ironic because his time's really easy to beat. And once you get to the location, he's going to try and beat you up with a bat because he's a sore loser. And when you do take him out and take the car, you're going to have enemies chasing you, which is kind of dumb anyway. And these guys are very obnoxious too. They're in relatively fast cars, so just watch out for those guys. They're very obnoxious. The other mission I tied into this one is the closed circuit one. It'll send you to one of 3 locations, being the horse track, Sandy Shores Airfield, or the main airport at the bottom of the map. And there's going to be like 4 or 5 cars driving in a circle. They're all going to look identical to each other except for the one you need to steal, which has some modifications to it, and it'll just tell you what vehicle it is on the map. And if you don't take this guy out within like your first couple of shots, he's going to just drive off and be really annoying. So just try and take him out as soon as you can and steal the car. And I don't believe there's enemies that chase you during this mission, so you should be okay. Now, the coolest mission I find is the car meet one. This will require you to obviously go to a location, and there's going to be a bunch of vehicles there because they're in a car meet, obviously. Now, there's no way around doing this stealthily. There's no way around of possibly taking no damage to the car. You're just going to have to deal with it. You're just going to take out all of the dudes there. They can do a lot of damage very quickly, so either get in cover or just, I guess, kill them one by one, and if you die a few times, it's okay. And eventually just steal the car. Not too hard there. You're going to have enemies chasing you once again. It's going to be the annoying ones with the fast cars and very obnoxious. So just try to avoid them or take them out, whatever you want to do. Not too hard. Finally, the very last mission. This will require you to go to the location it tells you, like always, and you're going to have to tail a Kuruma. I would just let them detect you, so just hit their car or whatever, and they're going to start speeding up. There's no way of doing this mission in a stealthy way, because regardless, whenever you get to the location that the Kuruma is trying to get to, they're always going to shoot at you, no matter what. And for these guys, they are probably worse than the car meet dudes. So just take them out with a sniper from distance, or just get up in their business and just keep shooting them. And if you die over and over, that's okay, because you can respawn as many times as you want. And when you take all of the dudes, you're just going to take the car. And once again, very obnoxious enemies chasing you. I think they are in Kurumas as well. So they're kind of quick. And if you want to take them out, of course, you can do that. Doesn't really matter too much. So with all of the missions being covered, I can now go back and talk about the repair cost I mentioned earlier of how to get this down to $0. So if you do have a repair cost that's actually more than the amount of money you have, that's okay. Your assistant will cover the money for you. But if you do have a hefty repair cost and you simply just do not want to cover that money, that's okay, because this is how you get it down to 0. So when you get over to your warehouse, do not put the car in the yellow circle. Just put it right before the yellow circle. Then you're going to call in a vehicle that's larger. It doesn't even have to be a large vehicle. Just having a large one works a lot better. Once you call in whatever car you have, you're going to push your vehicle cargo inside of the yellow circle. You're not going to see where it is, but as long as you kind of have an idea of where that yellow circle was, you're good. Once the vehicle cargo is in the yellow circle, you're going to have to shoot the car up until it says $34,000, the repair cost at the bottom right. When that's the case, you're going to keep shooting the engine over and over and over. Make sure you use like an assault rifle or an SMG just so you don't blow up the car instantly. And eventually there's going to be black smoke and then fire on the car. When the car is caught on fire, the repair cost is going to go down to 0 because the game thinks the car is destroyed, but it's actually not yet. So get in the car as fast as you can and the car will be delivered with 0 repair cost. It sounds really stupid, but of course, knowing how this game works, that's just a glitch you can do to get around a high amount of repair costs. There you go. That's how you avoid that. Now I gotta cover these sell missions. Again, whenever you sell a car, make sure it's always a top range that you sell. Do not do a standard or a mid-range unless you literally have like $0. Don't do standard or mid. It's not worth it. And once you do a top range vehicle and you do the specialist dealer, like I said previously, you're going to customize the car a little bit. Unfortunately, Rockstar removed like all the customization you can do to the car. So you can only do like engine upgrades, wheels. That's kind of it. Really, there's nothing else you can really do to the car. And once you are finished upgrading the car and you're in a solo session, you're going to drive slowly. I would not go fast. And then eventually there's going to be enemies that spawn on the map. And these guys are quick. So I would recommend just getting out of your car as soon as you can and just taking them out. And again, if you're selling a top range car, there's going to be 4 waves and 1 wave is 2 enemies. So just take them out and you'll be fine. If you're in a public session, there's going to be no enemies, but of course you're going to have to deal with all the griefers and shit. So in my opinion, I believe it's worth it just selling at an invite-only session. Don't really worry about public. And it's as simple as driving the car to the location. So it's really not too hard. Really, really easy. Just avoid all damage at all costs. Quickly, before I do talk about the sell values for every car, I do want to talk about the cooldowns. So on screen, you can see right here, 1 vehicle is 20 minutes. 2 vehicles is 30 minutes. 3 vehicles is 40 minutes, and 4 vehicles is 50 minutes. So the more people you have in your CEO, the more vehicles you can sell, and obviously 1 vehicle per person. So if you want to sell 4, you have to have 4 people in your CEO. So it kind of sucks in that sense, but I mean, it is what it is. But now finally talking about all the different sell values. It's going to be normal sell values, 50% more, and double money. And all of these values are put in consideration of spending costs for the max payout you can get for each vehicle. So standard is 30k to 45k, mid is 50k to 75k, and top range is 80k to 120k. 50% more, standard is 45k to 67k, mid range is 75k to 112k, top range is 120k to 180k. And double money is standard is 60k to 90k, mid range is 100k to 150k, and top range is 160k to 240k. And the reason for all of those different values is because I'm putting consideration of the public bonus you can get. So up to 20 players, 2.5% for each player, you can get a good bonus for every car. But yeah, that has been the entire vehicle warehouse. If I missed anything, you can let me know in the comments, but I think I just about covered everything that you would need to know about it. Obviously, there's probably some small like details, like looking at the map and you can know what mission you're doing. You can listen to your assistant knowing what mission you're doing. But I mean, stuff like that doesn't really matter too much because as long as you just play the game, you'll kind of learn that over time and it's not too hard. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see a different guide or what guide I should do next, let me know. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day and I'll see you in the next GTA video I make. See you in the next video. Peace out, everyone. I love you all.